If you can hear us, it looks like you're muted.
Is on.
Are you guys?
Hey, now we can hear you now, Katie.
Okay, perfect. I can't see myself on the back screen. I did previously, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys were seeing me.
Yeah, we do not see your camera. Oh, now we do.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better than I did last week. That's for sure.
Good.
Yeah, so hopefully I can be back in the office by Friday. That's what it's looking. So fingers crossed. Okay, Mayor, do you just want me to dive into the work session
Yeah.
for the commercial district?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are proposing some changes to the downtown commercial and island commercial district. We talked about this at previous work sessions. I have had the opportunity to go through the ordinance so you can see what some of the changes are based in the memo. So the downtown commercial district will just be for Center Street. Basically, kind of tailoring it to what it's being used for now. So smaller buildings that are not elevated. Commercial uses. Lot area requirements and setbacks will reflect the new allowable uses with the smaller district. And then greater lot coverage can be obtained by having some semi-public spaces along Center Street with porches or decks or courtyard, and that wouldn't count towards lot coverage limits. And then some clarification for like an internal pedestrian walkway. And then we wouldn't have any parking requirements on Center Street since that's mostly a pedestrian business street. And you want businesses kind of on your main thoroughfare. Then for the island commercial, that would thus be the rest of the commercial district and be much bigger. It would allow residential development only if it's paired with commercial development. That will get us away from those commercialized short-term rentals that we're seeing. Hotels and inns would still be allowed. We would limit the total height of buildings to be 40 feet from grade. You could have a maximum of 3 stories, but that bottom ground floor counts as a story. So it's kind of a clarification of what our story maximum is already written in our ordinance. Then we would have pervious pedestrian paths for new development and substantial improvements within the island commercial district. That has been very favorable from what we've seen with the construction of the new ones. And then we would eliminate single and 2 family dwellings for new construction in the island commercial. We already have existing non-conforming. I'm happy to take any questions that you guys have. Wanted to workshop this a little bit more before we got into specific wording.
Open lots to development that right now cannot be really developed in commercial. Have we considered that at all? The most immediate two that pop in my mind are on either side of the sand dollar. Right now, with our setbacks and parking, nothing can really be done there. So if we pass this, I can guarantee they're going to sell relatively quickly, and you'll see buildings go up of some shape or form. Is that our goal here, or because I mean, personally, I think it's fine now. I mean, as far as that goes, because that's so. Yeah, we're fixing something over here, but we're also going to add to it on another note. Is that really the best path going forward?
So that's for you guys as council to decide. The goal is to have Center Street full with businesses. It's usually the traditional planning practice there. So if we want to keep it as a vacant, overgrown tennis court, we can do that. Those lots have been for sale, and I have gotten a lot of inquiries about those lots and kind of trying to open the door for that, but also not have another commercialized short-term rental right there either.
And I think Katie hit on two important things for that lot in particular that would change is it wouldn't be able to be used as a commercial parking lot and no standalone residential use could go there. I think the price is what stops someone from building a rental house there, because they could right now under the zoning, and they could provide the parking. It's a full-size lot. So, in addition to the traditional goal to have our main street be a pedestrian-friendly, continuous street wall, that's some of the trade-offs that would happen if that zone did change. If those people lowered the price, that lot would have been developed by now.
Well, that shouldn't influence what we do. Just because they're pricing it too high, that's none of our business. That's on them.
That doesn't have
They're just
anything to
adding
do,
development.
that doesn't have anything to do with what he just said.
But what I'm saying is the only thing that's restraining that lot from development is the price of it. You say it can't be developed.
I hear what you're saying, but then you see another big building go up with zero setbacks, zero parking, this, that, and the other. When I don't think that's necessarily the goal. I wouldn't think so.
And to address that, we are proposing to treat Center Street differently. If you look out the window here, that scale of thing would be allowable. Maybe not that much lot coverage. Lot coverage is 50%. Wiki is too big and too tall. It couldn't fit. But yes, you are correct. We're proposing buildings approximately what you see out the window to be allowed on Center Street.
And the no parking was another part that we talked about, because we had parking in place, and then we realized if the Crab Shack sold or you sold your place, the way it's set up now, you couldn't do that. What you're doing now, because you have to have parking. Not count toward the allowable coverage, but it does count toward the coverage, because if I build a courtyard, I can't build a house.
So you wouldn't be able to build a house
Well,
in
I mean,
downtown
not a house,
commercial area.
A business.
Yeah. And having some built-in outdoor seating, dining area. And so that amenity is nice to have on a, main drag of municipality. And then they would be rewarded to be able to basically take, let's say they used 50 square feet of their lot for that courtyard, they could develop 50 square feet elsewhere, even if they've maximized that portion, especially because we don't have parking requirements, that you don't have to fit cars on the lot. So trying to create some more inviting, interesting, engaging spaces on the street front.
And it wouldn't eliminate the lot coverage limit, which is still 50%. But if you you could build a building with no semi-public amenities.
Setbacks for downtown commercial, and I don't believe this is a change from current, which is 0. So if you took, for example, City Hall and the building adjacent to it, the retail shop, as I understand it, we need to do some work to our exterior stuff, and we're fortunate that there's maybe 2 to 3 feet separation between the buildings. But theoretically, if the property owner there came along after us and built his lot line, and it only afforded us a foot, we wouldn't have the ability to do the work we need to do to our exterior. So I know, we're not reinventing the wheel here. This has been contemplated in other communities, particularly large cities across the nation, where you see buildings being built, right touching each other with some type of membrane to protect water intrusion and what have you. It would seem to me to make sense that if someone wanted to build to their lot line, they shouldn't be able to do that if it impedes the ability of their neighbor to service the side of their property, the side of their building. So, I would propose that we either, when someone wants to do that, they that makes sense to everyone.
Yeah, I would kind of rely on Eric if he has anything from a building code standpoint.
We always prefer a setback if possible. The amount, ultimately, if we had our way, 5 feet on both sides would be nice. But that makes it restrictive, and we can always work around it. You're right, if you start getting too close like we have out here, it can become a big problem. So I mean, it's open. You can make the building code, you can build to whatever you're allowed. There's ways to do it on 0 lot line. It's like you said, you can make $6 a pack. It just takes a lot more construction. Techniques and engineering.
Makes sense. So 5 feet to me would seem maybe a little excessive. That would be a 10-foot alley between the two, but it must be a minimum to get, the type of scaffolding or type of equipment you might need to do that periodic repair work to the side of a structure.
You put more alleyways on Center Street, you're also going to increase the various activity. Because an alleyway just like that is prime for things like that.
Yeah, it's certainly a consideration.
Look
Similarly,
to other communities, see where
right,
things
yeah,
are done in other places.
fair enough. Thank you.
Building is obviously, covered, can we somehow clean it up a little bit? Whether it's vacant or not, doesn't matter, but just to clean it up because it is in the downtown commercial.
Yeah, for our main thoroughfare